not being able to grow up and be what they want to be. I'm so tired of scrolling through my newsfeed. All I see is angels flying high, but that's not how it's supposed to be. All the time I hear about families separating because their kid is gone. It's sad because they should stick and love each other even more. Moms crying, praying to God to have the babies come back into their arms. Being able to at least give them a warm hug. If you know someone better than the sickness, one won't put them down. Because we're already feeling like the outcasts of the whole town. Give us a hand, we're fighting day to day to live our not so normal life. But you guys just don't seem to care, so fly high, spread your wings and fly. We are fighting for you tonight. Fly high, spread your wings and fly. We are fighting for you tonight. Fly high, spread your wings and fly. We are fighting for you tonight. Everyone will get the time to shine. Just give us a chance, show how bright we shine. Now I want everyone to look around. Tell me what you see. You tell me. I see an old man looking grumpy like a clown. And that woman over there is ugly. Women who want to date her in this town now. And the folks over there creating a scene. But I say to you, you don't know what's going on deep down. The old guy's grumpy because his shot is 6 feet on the ground. And the woman with no makeup on has no time at all. She spends a night and day forming the hospital halls. And now the couple over there creating a commotion. Their son is laying in his deathbed. And they're not sure we'll be able to rise up and go home again. But you can judge a book by its cover. You don't take the time to find out what's going on inside. So fly high, spread your wings and fly. We are fighting for you tonight. Fly high, spread your wings and fly. We are fighting for you tonight. Fly high, spread your wings and fly. We are fighting for you tonight. Families out there, I know you're listening. Don't cry, your child is just fine. Healthy in this big, wonderful paradise. Families out there, I know you're listening. Don't cry, your child is having fun. Running up the mountains filled with flowers, birds, and butterflies. So fly high, spread your wings and fly. We are fighting for you tonight.
It's 2 a.m. I can't believe you're gone. Isn't it strange how one life ends, but the clocks up on the wall, they keep ticking on and on and on.
I think I can speak for most in saying that she had the ability to walk into any room and take center stage. She was such a performer. Her spunkiness and sassiness and constant jokes were always so fun and exciting. But I think the thing that I admired most about Joyce was her strength and perseverance. From events to hospital visits to birthdays, I never once heard Joyce complain. And I think that's because she knew she was bigger than her cancer diagnosis, and she knew that she was going to change the world no matter what stood in front of her. Joyce changed ATO and Zeta so deeply and greatly, and that's why she will constantly be a part of this family and why we will constantly continue to love and cherish her every single day.
Something that Joyce is always going to be remembered for is the passion that she had for everything that she did. Whether it was cheering on the Eagles, making sure her mom had the best birthday ever by having everyone she knew wish her a happy birthday on Facebook, putting 100% effort into her rap music that she created, making sure that her sisters were always safe and having fun whenever she watched them, or mastering tricks on her kendamas. She always had so much passion for everything that she did. Despite being someone who was going through treatment during hard times, she also had a passion to make sure that everyone else had a chance in their fight. She wanted to motivate others to fight harder and get through their treatments. She organized the Holiday Hershey toy drive in her area to make sure that kids at Hershey were able to get toys at holidays if they were there going through treatment. And she did this all on her own. She taught our organization that we fight as one, and we are going to now take that with us forever.
I was so lucky enough to have been able to be part of the first few people who met Joyce and introduced her to our org. I drove down with 2 other members, and we took her out for lunch for the first time soon after we were paired with her. And we were so nervous because we were her first introduction to Zeta and ATO. And, we wanted it to go well. We wanted her to like us. And, of course, she was her typical Joyce right off the bat, joking around with us, so funny. And we just thought she was so awesome. But at the same time, we wanted her to like us the same way. And then shortly after that is when we were getting ready for Thon. And, a separate amazing memory was performing on stage with her. That was unreal. But while we were getting ready to do that at the dancer retreat, myself and the other dancers that year went to her house, and we spent the afternoon with her, like getting the dance all together and practicing, and then took her out to lunch and everything. And that was actually some of the dancers' first time ever meeting her. So, once again, like, you're still just nervous, like, did she like us? What did she think? Like, we thought she was awesome. But when we were driving back that day after spending the day with her, I remember so vividly looking down at my phone, and I had a text from Joyce, and it said, "I just talked to Lil Drippy God, and we had decided that you guys are officially members of Lil Drippy Squad." And that was just like the best message I could have gotten. I mean, we were all so pumped. It was so heartwarming to know that she was having as much fun with us as we were with her, and that this was, the start of, what our relationship became with Joyce.
One of my favorite memories with Joyce was actually the first time that I got a chance to meet her. Me, Bertha, and Natalie Wagner all drove down to Reading to meet her and her family and take her out to lunch. And at first, she had her hood over her head and she wasn't saying a whole lot. And I could tell that she wasn't really sure about us yet. But as the lunch went on, she started to talk more, started making jokes, and really started to be herself. And from that moment on, she was much more comfortable with our org as a whole, and made a bunch of connections and friendships with everybody.
I was Thon chair when we found out that Joyce was going to be joining the Zetas family, and one of my favorite stories of the first time that I got to meet her was she is always trying to make everybody laugh. And we were out at a restaurant, and one of my fellow Thon chairs my year, Beans, he went to the bathroom and was gone for a while, and when he came back, Joyce immediately made a joke about how he pooped. She just always was trying to make everybody laugh, and one of my absolute favorite things about her was she continued to do that through all of the struggles that she was facing. I cannot even imagine how tough everything that she was going through was, but she had such strength, and she continued to want to make other people happy and spread the positivity to other people. She cared more about the other children in the hospital and about her friends and family around her. And she really just tried to focus on making us happy when she was the one going through all these tough times. So that just truly speaks to who Joyce was.
I was lucky enough to be a part of the group that helped Joyce join our organization and was able to be an impactful person in her life in general. Some of my favorite memories are obviously during our Thon. She was able to perform on stage, and I got to be one of her backup dancers, part of the original Lil Drippy Squad. It was a really cool experience to be able to see her live out that portion of her dream of performing in front of people, and she always poured everything that she had into what she did.
I was lucky enough to be one of Joyce's first Penn State friends, but that also meant that I was the center of all of her jokes and roasts. Joyce was preparing for her rap performance at Thon, and she chose a few of us to be her backup dancers during her performance. And she took one look at me and said, "Yep, you'll be in the back." Joyce loved to make others smile and use her crazy sense of humor and her love for music to do it. A couple times a week, Joyce would also FaceTime me and give me a little update on her new ATO boyfriends and which one was the special boy of the week. Joyce was truly a blessing in my life, and not a day goes by that I do not think about her.
When I first met Joyce, it was at Tucker's Mini-Thon in 2019, and this was just a couple weeks after her first Thon as a part of our family. And it was at this Mini-Thon that I quickly learned of her sense of humor and her love of music. And from that point forward, she really became a huge part of our family. And although our time with her was a lot shorter than we anticipated, she still has left a huge impact on our organization.
I think my favorite memory about Joyce has to be from Tuck's Mini-Thon 2 years ago. As I got there, I walked into the gym over to our group of about 20 or 30 ATO and Zeta members. The first person I saw was Joyce, who looked at me and said, "Sup, chicken legs? You gotta get some meat on those bones." And henceforth, I was known as Chicken Legs to Joyce and everyone in that gym. And I think this is the moment that really sparked our friendship.
One of my favorite things about her personality was how she always had little jokes about everyone, like how Kaiser looked like he regularly made TikToks, or how Quinn was always too skinny and looked like he needed to put on some weight. These were just the little parts of her personality that we really miss and added a lot to the Zaytaw's family. And I wish that we could still have her around today to slide these little jokes our way.
Words cannot describe how lucky I was to know such an amazing person like Joyce. We first bonded over the United States Marine Corps since my brother was a Marine, and she told me about her dream to be one. I encouraged her to be the first Marine with a prosthetic. And with the FR director's help, she was accepted into Penn State's ROTC Marine Option Program. And I think that they would be so lucky to have such an amazing and strong person like she was.
My favorite memory of Joyce is definitely getting to see her and her family at the Thon 5K. It was such a great opportunity to get to know her and get to know her family. It was really the first time that she was really sassy with me and making all these comments about everybody. And that was really just what she was known for. She was always messing with us and was very funny. So that was such a great opportunity to see her and her element there, hanging out with all of us. And I know that she will always be a part of the Zaytas family.
Anyone that knew her knew that she was the queen of everything, the diva. It was her way or the highway. And last year for the Thon 5K, I asked her what she wanted for lunch afterwards, and she said Chipotle. So I catered Chipotle for everyone, and we set it all up at ATO for everyone to meet there after. And after the 5K, it was like 30 minutes, an hour, and I'm like calling her. I'm like, Joyce, where are you? Like, why aren't you here? And she's like, sorry, my family's stopping and like eating Subway. And I was like, why? Like, I catered Chipotle. And she was like, yeah, they don't eat Chipotle. I just like Chipotle. And I was like, oh my God. And so essentially I catered a whole dinner for the Ortiz family that they didn't like. Only Joyce liked.
So the story that I wanted to share about Joyce was the night before her 18th birthday. She FaceTimed me and Jacqueline Eagleson. And so we were chatting, we were spilling the tea. She loved to hear the gossip. She was telling us about her crushes. And like half an hour passes by and I had student teaching in the morning. Jacqueline had clinical. And we were like, okay, Joyce, like, we love you, happy birthday, but we gotta go. It's getting late. And she was like, oh, no. It is my 18th birthday. This is a national holiday. You guys can't just hang up at 10:30. So we stayed on the phone until midnight. And then the clock struck midnight and her phone was just getting flooded with all these texts from people in ATO and Zeta. And so she like swipes the FaceTime onto pause and she reads like one or two to us, but then she's like, guys, I gotta go. My fans are calling me. It's my birthday. And so then she hangs up, but it was so great to see just how loved she felt on her birthday.
My favorite memory with Joyce was basically anytime Ice Ice Baby came on. The way that she could rap that song and the excitement that you could see on her face when she was singing and dancing really impacted me. And you could see how much she just loved life. And now every time I hear that song, I always think of her and the moments that we got to spend together.
Baby. Now that the party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the fingers are pumping, quick to the point, to the quick, no faking, cooking MCs like a pound of bacon, burning them if you ain't quick and nimble.
So my favorite Joyce memory has to be when a couple of us went down for her birthday and we all got Texas Roadhouse. It was just a really good time because I got to see her smile and we got to give her presents and she was really happy about her presents. And we just got to hang out for a couple of hours, just us and a couple of her close friends. So it was really nice to see her happy and smiling. And that's one of my favorite memories of Joyce.
I remember my first time ever meeting Joyce. So I had been in Zeta for maybe 4 days. It was like the weekend right after bid day, and she was getting her report removed. So me, Megan Quinn get in a car with a bunch of older people. We drive to Hershey. We get there. She goes into surgery. Surgery goes well. The doctor comes out, and he's like, oh, like, she's out of surgery. All went well. You guys can start going in pairs of 2 to, like, say hi and check in on her and everything. So me and Megan pair up, everyone's starting to go in. Me and Megan are the last two to go in there. And keep in mind, me and Megan are two of the most awkward people to ever live on this earth, okay? And so it's our turn, we go in, and me and Megan are like looking at each other. We're like, what do we say to her? We've never met this girl before. We're about to walk into her hospital room right after she got out of surgery on all these like meds, and she's probably nauseous and loopy and everything. And so we go in there. Neither of us want to talk first. We're both just kind of standing there like staring over her in her hospital bed. Neither of us are saying a word. She looks at us, complete Joyce fashion, being her true authentic self, is like, who the heck are these girls and why are they in my hospital room staring over me, not saying a word? She starts cracking all these jokes and just making light of the situation. And like, if that says anything about the type of person she was, like the way that she could just like make anything into a joke and just bring happiness out of any situation, like shows so much about her and the type of person she was. And that is something that I will always admire and will always remember about her, and I know the rest of our org will too.
I just want her to know that we miss her every day and always think about her, and we know she's looking down on us from heaven. Love you, Joyce.
We love you, Jay.
Miss you, baby.
Little Drippy Squad forever, and FTK always.
Miss and love you, Jay. Fly high, little drippy god.